Thank you. So, welcome everyone to our webinar of our free webinar, Harnessing Your Studies in Germany. It's part of our biggest buddy program webinar series. So, if you are part of the buddy program, you might have received an invitation for this, but it's also open to anyone who has interest and it's an international student in Germany. So, if you have other friends that are also coming to Germany, you can invite them because they can still join our talk. Okay, so this is the agenda for the night. So we're gonna do a quick welcome and introduction. It's already traditional from our webinars. If you have been here before, you joined this kind of activity. If you're not, you're gonna see how it works. And then we're gonna go through the finance your studies topic. So we're gonna talk about a few options you might have here in Germany, share a few tips and hacks and that maybe will answer your questions about this. Then you're gonna really like quickly go through what Degis is. If you have been here before to other webinars we hosted, you might have heard about this. So if you're not interested in listening more about Degis, you don't have to, of course. But if you're here for the first time, we invite you to just stay for a few minutes so we can explain you what we do and what we are about. And then in the end of our evening, our event, we're gonna do a quick questions and answer. If you didn't have your answers, your questions answered so far by the content we prepared to you. And also, just like a quick spoiler, we have a gift for the ones who stay until the end. So it's gonna be a very fun night with lots of content, and we hope you all enjoy it. Okay, so who's presenting today? Errol, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can do so. So hello, everybody. Nice to see you here again, or for the first time, in case you're joining for the first time. Great to have you here. My name is Errol. I'm here today with Caro from Deges. I'm half German, half Turkish, and within Deges, I'm responsible for the Events and Projects Network. And today I will be assisting Caro and helping you on giving you tips about your studies.
Nice. And as Errol already introduced me, I'm Caro, Carolina, but can all call me Caro. I come from Brazil. I came to Germany as an international student, so I've done my master's here, which I finished in the beginning of this year. And in the GAZE, I'm responsible for running marketing and community events like this one. So I'm very, very, very glad to have you all here joining us today. And let's do some get to know each other activities. So first thing we're gonna ask you is to rename yourself. So as Errol has done here, he put like his country is Germany, and then his name is Errol, and the city he's living in is Berlin. So I've done the same. You can see on my name how you do this. You go on the participants icon, and then you look for your name. You click in more. You click in rename, and then you can change your name. So we all know where you're from, where you're living at in Germany, and we all locate ourselves and know uh, what are you about here in Germany. Besides that, we want to ask you to do one really, really quick thing. You can grab your smartphones or you can go to this website, slido.com. Errol, if you could please just type it on the chat too. And if you go to the website, you just type this code. If you use a QR code, you're gonna get this question directly on your screen. And I would like you to just answer this question that is written on the screen now. And I'm looking forward um, to read your answers. So we have someone studying mechanical engineering. Nice. Computational linguistics. Mm. Psychology, master's in renewable energy management. Cool. Someone answered here on the chat, automation and robotics. If you want to join the activity, you can just scan the QR code or go to this website, and then your answer goes to the cloud. Urban and environmental planning, economics, supply chain management. Okay, so I'll go to the second question, and then for those who are using the phone, it will change automatically. What are your main questions, your main doubts about financing your life in Germany? And then you can answer you can put as many questions you want. Oh, no, someone put biology, but we changed the question now. So the question now is, what are your questions about financing your life in Germany? Okay. Texas. Can I still get a scholarship if I already started my master's degree? Or should we search for financing per internet? Beside BAföG, what other funding is there? How to find a job? Is it possible to fund a scholarship for studying first bachelor year in September 2020 without knowledge of German language? How can I improve my chances of getting a scholarship? How can I combine my studies with a mini job? Ooh. Is there any chance we can take student credit from our bank? And is it reliable? Why financing with English language is so difficult? Yeah, good question. Funding regardless, universities being tuition free. Is there any possibility to get student credits here in Germany? Okay. Okay. So some of your questions will be answered by our content. Others, not that much, but we have the questions and answer moment in the end. So if you still have questions and if you feel like you should refrain yourself, you will also have the chance to do that. But nice to know what you're thinking about, what are your main difficulties right now. So let's go to our topic. So financing your life in Germany. And yeah, you might not be Mr. Krabs and be like all about money and so on, but having a balanced lifestyle and having access to basic things and knowing having financial health when living such a nice experience as um, studying abroad, coming to Germany as an international student is very important. So that's why we decided to bring this topic for you because we think it's very, very, very relevant to discuss that. So this might not be like a super tip or anything, but the first step is always dealing with money. Uh, it's having control over it. So just a few tips. If you don't have a tool for controlling your finance, that's the first thing you should start doing. Most of you might have it, and it depends on how you like to deal with it. So do you like to use Excel or Google spreadsheets? You can do that. Here on the chat, Arrow sent a link with some spreadsheet templates that you can just download and implement, and they can help you controlling. But there are other people that prefer to use apps. They're not very into spreadsheets, so there are some apps already that help you planning your budget. This one's budget. The second is you need a budget, but you can look for it like this. Some banks, if you already have a German bank account, Most of them have already these functionalities, these features in which you can plan yourself and control your budget and your expenses and so on. And another very, very useful app, I find it very useful personally. I use it like on a daily basis, especially if you share a flat, and might be the reality for most of you here in Germany. It's Splitwise. It allows you to share expenses if you are, for example, doing groceries for you and your flatmates, and then you put it there, and then it shares all of them equally. If you also have suggestions of other apps or other tools that might help everyone here to control your expenses, please put them on the chat. It will be super, super, super helpful. And then, like, final tip about controlling your money, controlling your expenses is actually plan your savings. And why is this important? When you leave abroad, when you go to an experience as an international student, you have to be prepared for anything. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen. We just lived like 2 years of a global pandemic, and things can go really wrong and like unplanned. So it's very important for you to be ready if something else happens. So plan your savings, try to save whatever you earn or whatever you have as income. Um, People say that you should, I don't know, save at least 10% of your salary, and have the target is like to have savings for living at least 2 months without having to earn more money. So these are a few tips, right? Um, and then, Errol, do you have anything else to add that before going to this topic?
No, I think you covered all the important parts. As you mentioned last, like the thumb rule in Germany here, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, it came in the media again that you have at least for 2 or 3 months enough money on the side in case of emergency, like if you lose your job or something like that, that you can finance your life for at least 3 months. So that's like amount that you should have, if possible, on the side just for emergency cases. With that said, if you're also earning money or have savings in a certain amount, it's smart to invest them nowadays, because as you know, the inflation is on record highs wherever you are here in Germany. I think it's over 5% at the moment. So if you keep your money somewhere, it gets less and less valuable. So it's also smart to start using that money and let it grow over time. And an easy and simple way for that to do so is looking for investments. So there are now many neo broker here in Germany, also like Trade Republic, Scalable Capital, where you can like start with small amounts, starting investments. I think you can start as less as 10 euros each month and put them into like ETFs of your choice. Or if you have like companies that you want to invest in, like Tesla or Apple are the most popular one, you can buy each month like 10% of a share. And so if you believe that this company will grow, then you can make your money grow. But don't take this as an investment tip. It's just some financial advice for things that you can do with your money. And another thing that's beneficial for you, I mean, if you're newly in Germany, maybe at the moment not so much, but once you start working and also earning money, is doing a tax return and getting some of your taxes back. Because by doing so, even as a student, even if you're not earning money, you can get a bunch of money back, because all the stuff that you buy for your studies, in some way, shape or form, you can get the taxes on that back, because these are stuff for your education, and there's a possibility to get a bunch of this money back, which is definitely as a student really beneficial. And to do so, there are now many different ways in which you can do that. And we as Deges have actually one partner, which is TaxFix. It's an app, or you can also use it obviously on the computer. And there it helps you to create like tax return each year. It's, I think, in the midsummer, you have to put, if you earn more than a certain amount of money, you have to do a tax declaration. And if you're in the case of that, you can use this app for you. Here we also linked the QR code. So it's really fast. It only takes you 22 minutes. And it's obviously in English, which is really important as an expat because the German documents can be really complicated. And this app helps you to do it really swiftly. And as I said, you can get a lot of tax returns and a lot of things that you buy for the university. So if you're interested, check this app out. And if you do so, I think it will really help you. And it's one way to save a little bit of money, which is always nice and important. So yeah, feel free to try it out.
Okay, thank you, Errol, for this. And then besides controlling your money and being smart with choices, investment choices, and doing your declaration so you get your taxes back. One thing you can also do is apply to scholarships. I saw that some of you also asked about scholarships. So some of you might know already the ones that are government funded. So there's one really famous called Deutschland Stipendium. You can look for it. You Google it. Um, it's very popular, and it might work for you. And there are, of course, also the DAD scholarships. And DAD scholarships can cover all sorts of expenses, and they have lots of different programs for um, German courses or very oriented courses to some kind of field or another. And they also have the special emergency aid programs. So our advice is just go to DAD website. If you don't know what DAD is, it's the international department of education of the German government, pretty much. So they are pretty much focused on enabling international education in Germany. But there are also some foundations that will offer scholarships. Some of them are more broad, others are very specific to some kind of courses too. For example, the Kohandadenaue Stiftung is very focused on political studies, for example. But there are others that you can look for. These are a few kind of or foundations you can just Google and check if he fits the requirements. And of course, there's Erasmus. It's one of the most popular ways of coming to Germany to study. It's like I think, Europe-wide biggest program of international study. So here, Arrow is sending some useful links you can use to do your research on scholarships. And there are also some kind of things that are not actually considered scholarships, but can help you somehow. Because sometimes you don't get like this full scholarship, or you don't get this wide amount of money to fund your studies, but you can just get one or another that might help you a lot. And then in the end of the day, in the aftermath, you have a good money saving or good benefits. One website that I really suggest you to take a look at is this one, mystipendium.de. And they are this organization that is they do lots of partnership with different organizations and companies to provide special discounts and offers and prizes for students. And you should also look for writing contests. This is it's getting more and more popular. There are these online contests that are focused on students, and then you just have like to write essays or present some kind of argument in some kind of topic, and then you can earn, I've seen prizes up to 1,000 euros already. So this is another thing that you can look for. Okay, and then so after organizing yourself and looking for the benefits and good investments and how to spend and keep your money, and then maybe looking for scholarships and also special prizes, you can also be eligible for student loan. When you think about financing your life, of course, getting a loan might not be the number one choice, because of course you have to plan yourself really carefully in order to avoid getting to very, very bad debt. what would be a shame, especially coming to Germany and starting a brand new life over here. So be very careful, ensure that you have a plan to pay back if you get a loan. So some of you already suggest are already mentioned the FOG, which is pretty much student loan funded by the government. But it's you have to prove that you need how much you need for that. So it's a bit bureaucratic in this way, but the good um, benefit for me is that it's free of interest. So you just pay back what you actually borrowed, which might be very, very interesting in the long term. But there's is another one called Bildungskredit. Uh, it's not needed based, so it's more, it has a fixed amount and it has interest rates to pay back, but they're really, really low because they all take into consideration that you are a student and then uh, you shouldn't have like super high interest rates. Someone else asked it, and the answer is yes. Some banks also offer some student loan options. These are a few banks that might offer them, but the interest rates are way higher than these other choices. But it's also an option. And there are some private foundations, like these two ones, DACA and Brain Capital. There are international foundations, international organizations, mostly Brain Capital. I think DACA is German, but it's focused on international students too. That it's their aim is to offer student loans. So they're private foundations, mostly development banks and like community funded organizations, but they might get you some good offers for loans too. This DACA one, uh, the only thing I have to comment about it is that usually you need to have someone to endorse your your loan here. It doesn't need to be a German person, but it does. This person does need to have German residency. So if you have like family person or family friend that's living in Germany for at least I think at least 1 year, this person can just endorse your loan. There used to be another organization here. It's called KfW, but they are not offering loans for international students anymore, unfortunately. But let's hope that we get more offers in the near future. This is a very complicated thing for student loans for international students. There are still not many organizations that might offer this. Um, but it's also something that we as an organization that advocates for international students, we are uh, trying to establish dialogue about this too, because we do think it to be very beneficial for everyone here. But these are a few options. You can look for them, you can Google them if you are interested in doing student loan. Okay, so we already talked about organizing ourselves, investments and tax return, some scholarships and student prizes, student loan. But I do believe, and we all believe, that maybe the best option and more sustainable option for you to finance your studies here in Germany, it's through work and mostly a part-time job. There's also an option of getting a full-time job, but it's more challenging for international students. That's why this is might be the best option. So this is the rule. International students in Germany are allowed to work 120 days of the year full-time, or part-time, it's 240 days of the year. We say part-time because it's easier for you to balance your life and studies, especially if you're on your first semesters, you're still getting used to how the system works over here. So maybe you should consider part-time. But if you want to work full-time, there's also an option as long as you respect this limitation of days per year. Um, there's some ways of getting this extended, but it's very hard. But you should, there's if you get like permission from the foreign office, you might get this extended, but by rule is not possible. And one big tip that we already give you is that renowned employment is a very big topic in Germany, especially because the country is lacking skilled workers in some fields. So many universities and organizations like us are focusing on helping students getting jobs and so on. But what a tip that we give you is to look for your university and check if they have some kind of service or department like career development department, career service department. Some universities have full like job portals that might help you to find opportunities. And usually if you get endorsed by the university looking for an opportunity is a big asset for you. Another information that you might want to know is that as much as you're having a part-time job, if you're doing your study breaks, like for example, we are right now doing study breaks because summer semester will start soon, you can work full-time. So and then you don't break any rules by doing that. And as we were talking about taxes before, this is the information you should know. If you earn above 450 euros per month, then you have to pay taxes. And of course, your employer will help you with that. Will let you know about what's your full salary, how it's gonna go with taxes, because it's gonna be discounted directly. But this is what you should know. Like plan yourself on what you want to earn. Also, to know that if you get more than this amount per month, you have to pay taxes. So you get discounts on your salary. Yes, and then still on this topic, these are a few options that you might consider. So here, many universities, and this is something you can look like right away, that offer student assistant positions. And you can look for this on your own university. So with that professor that you like, that is teaching some topic that you're interested in, or maybe you want to write your thesis in the future or something like this, or even in other universities. Some student assistant positions are not restricted to your own university. You can, even if you go to another institution, you can still apply for some positions. Just have to go through the university positions. As I said, most of them will have job portals, and you can look for these opportunities. Another few options, and these are mostly if you're looking for quick employment, if you're just looking for something that is not maybe long term and you just want some opportunity for the summer or so, are positions like waiter, waitresses, bike or scooter courier. This is very popular right now because we have lots of companies doing food delivery or groceries delivery, like Gorillas, Volt, Flink, and all of these things. Bartending, cooking staff too, and most of these because summer is coming, so many tourists will be in the cities of Germany, so they're looking for more staff. And also babysitting or pet sitting, and usually these are positions that don't require any German or very little German, and they are a less requirement, so it's easier to get. But if your objective right now is to actually engage yourself on your own field, what you should look for is for working student jobs. And you can also look for internships. It's something that might fit you, but usually internships, they require you to work full time, which might not fit with your schedule or the requirements. And most of internships are unpaid, so you won't be. Some of them will have salaries, but the majority won't. So it won't actually meet the expectation of actually finance your life. So this is what you should work for, working student jobs, and it might also fit how the rules work for international students working here in Germany. Yeah, so here someone asked for freelancing and I already answered. So international students aren't allowed to freelance in Germany. So you don't have a work permit for that. The only work permit you might have is to work part-time 120 hours, no, opposite. Part-time 240 hours and full-time 120 hours as a working student or an intern, but not as a freelancer. So shouldn't babysitters in Germany have a special license or something? Not really. There are some websites that just you can just get registered over there, and you will get like this permission of working, and then you work for the platform, not exactly for a person. But if you want to be employed by a specific person, then yeah, it should work like as a freelancing or something, because then you need to issue invoices. Um, Okay, and what are the places where the special resources for looking for jobs in Germany? LinkedIn is obvious. I think you might know it already, but the important thing is to look for the right keywords. So look for working student positions, look for internship positions, part-time positions, especially if you don't speak German. Look for it in English. Usually, if you want to know if the position will require German or not, if it's written in English, it most probably won't. If it's written in German, most probably to ask for German, like fluent and so on. But if it's written in English, usually it's open for non-German speakers too. There are many Facebook groups also, and one thing that you learn here in Germany is that Facebook groups are really used, especially for looking for information, looking for opportunities, and networking and so on. So already just go to your Facebook if you use it, type the name of your city and look for any interesting group that might have over there. Um, for working English speaking jobs, working students, internships, and so on. And just put on your notifications because it might be a good place for opportunities. And then there are a few popular job boards. These are the most famous job boards in Germany. Indeed is the top one. So you should definitely go there, put up a profile, and look for the right keywords. As an example, as we said about LinkedIn, but there are a few other options. The Zen job one is very focused on mini jobs. So you can also look for it depending on what you're looking for. This Mein Praktikum, I think it's more for internships, but you can also take a look at this. And yeah, you can all go for them. But last tip on this is like, especially if you're looking for any kind of job, not specific a working student or startup job or so, you can also take a walk and look for job advertisements. As I said, summer's coming. Many opportunities will come up in shops and restaurants, bars, and so on. And you can already see around places that are looking for personal. So you can try that as well. And specifically, like if you don't speak German, one of the most nice, easy positions you get is for cooking stuff because they usually don't ask for you to speak German or anything. And on this topic, we have some final tips for you because I think it will be very important. I don't know how many of you speak German, but some positions, depending on the kind of positions, they will require, depending on what you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with public, or if it's not going to actually happen. For example, for courier positions, they don't actually require German, but it's nice for you to know one word or another to talk to customers. But anyway, if you're planning to stay in Germany for medium long term, it does worth to invest on your German language learning. And because it's gonna pay off in the future. It's very obvious as much as better your German gets, as best options you start getting to. So this is a very, very important tip. Another very nice tip is to let you know that you're looking for opportunities because here in Germany, referrals count a lot. So when you get a referral for a job, for an interview, your chances of getting interviewed are way higher. So, for example, if you start getting to know people here on university or neighbors or so, you can let them know that you're looking for jobs. And if they have something to refer you on, you're interested as well. And you also, for example, if you are applying for some job and you're going through interview, you don't quite know the organization or the company, you can always go to this Glassdoor platform where people evaluate the working environment, salary, working space, or everything else, so you know if it's a good idea to go for this or that position. Yes, and of course, it's very obvious, but it would maybe be good for you to start thinking about this, that you as a student, you have lots of benefits and you should start using them, and benefits for you to actually save money. So use all the discounts you can, like even if you want to have some fun, check if you have uh, cheapest options like movies and museums and so on, and use them. Like also travel cheap, so use your semester ticket. Don't spend money if you don't can. Go use your bike as much as you can. Also, if you want to travel, there are some very cheap options like BlaBlaCar, Flixbus, and of course cook at home as much as you can. And there are other cheapest food options like this to go platform, which you can get food in restaurants for very cheap price. It's very good to go for it. Get your taxes refunded, as we said, because it can in the end turn off in a very good amount for you to have back. And your all money saving and cashback hacks, because they're quite a lot here in Germany right now. Okay, so we have a few questions here in the chat. I will let me see if there's something super. I think we answered almost everything here, and we are gonna open a space to answer some more in the end. But someone asked, where can I get my work permit? You get your work permit as soon as you get your residence permit. It goes along with it. So when you apply for a residence permit, in you're gonna get this paper that it's your work permit. And then when you get a job, your employer will register you based on, you're gonna get also a tax number, and then you're gonna register everything. But it goes together because a residence permit goes with this permit along with it. Um, Arrow sent some other resources. So right now, if you have more questions, you can keep sending them on the chat. I'm gonna answer them really soon, but I want to take just a couple of minutes to explain you what Digis is. So we are here talking a lot about international student life and how it can be challenging, and all the sort of things that you can face. And of course, you can already figure out that we as Digis, we're really worried about this, because these are a few things that you might find. So we're already talking about financial challenges. It's expensive. You have to plan yourself a lot. And at the same time, you get yourself in this position where you're far from your friends and your family and all your support systems. Maybe you don't know people here yet. And maybe it's a very hard language for you to learn right now. You might need, it's a very new way of getting employment. So going through interviews, maybe in a language that is not yours, if you don't speak English sometimes even, or you're not your first language. And also Germany might be a very complicated country in terms of bureaucracy. We're all talking here about residence permits and work permits. In a nutshell, it might get complicated for sure. And then it's you when you start thinking, okay, now I need a visa. And then you figure out that maybe life will even get a bit more complicated after you get the visa, because there are so much more to come, like finding a flat and finding a job and getting to know new people. So it might get a bit complex. And then you also might get into this position in which you think, okay, I'm by myself, no one cares about my issues and all about my struggles and so on. And but what we want you to know is that that's not true. Actually, there's an organization that is caring about international students in Germany and wants to provide you the best support we can get you. And this is our mission. It's to support every international student in Germany to build a network, achieve their goals, and fulfill their dreams. So in every way it's possible. So we are SDG is a nonprofit NGO. We exist since 2019, and we consist into an online and offline community. The idea is that you are all already part of our online community, attending to our events. But if you want to join our offline community, and we have we are present in more than 40 German cities. So you can join one of our local teams. Around the country, you have more than 250 active members. You can also become one of them. And as you joining our events and our online activities, we have more than 50,000 people. These are the cities that we have city chapters right now. So if you see your city on this list, you can actually join your local team and get to know other international students that are also sharing the same kind of experience. But if your city is not here, it means that we still haven't founded a DIGI's office locally. And you can be the one in charge of this if you're willing to become one of our volunteers. So this is pretty much what you get joining DIGI's. So you're gonna get to connect to other international students online, but you're gonna also get to join other international students in face-to-face events and like picnics and international dinners or sightseeing events and so on. Um, you'll get like this local support system that we call them city chapters. You also have access to all the information that we're sharing, like this event, but we also have a website where we try to share as much information as possible for international students. You will get volunteering opportunities and also have access to a volunteer certificate if you join us, which will be a really good addition to your CV here in Germany. This is very important to have volunteering experience on your CV. You get access to some skill development. So not only hard skills like knowing how to do marketing or HR, but also soft skills like leadership, public speaking, and others. Um, you can have access to our buddy program, both being a local buddy, but an income buddy, as many of you might be. But after a while, you can also become a local buddy to other international students. And you'll get access to networking opportunities. So that might secure you jobs, might secure your friends, and a better life here in Germany as internationals. So this is in summary. We get that as international students, we might have many challenges, and we do believe that the answer for helping you overcome these challenges is providing you access to a very cool network that might help you with anything you need. So this is important. This is the key for providing success to international students here in Germany, and that's what we want. So if you want to join us, if you haven't joined us yet, you can do it right now. You can just scan this QR code or go to bit.ly/Digis network and register as a member now. Okay, so this is everything I had to talk talk to you about about Digis. I want to read some questions here from the chat. If you still have questions, you can type them here, and we still have a few minutes to chat. So here, and said, do we UE citizens need a work permit? EU citizens are already answered that European Union citizens don't need a work permit. So you just need to be registered in the city, and then it's easier in this way. It's only international students that are not from Europe. But yeah, as Errol said here, as you don't need a work permit, but you still have to respect the limits as for working hours as a student. Someone asked here, can you suggest any post-admission scholarship to me? I'm still in my country with admission with no scholarship. Tuition paid though. What can I do? Um, I don't specifically, I don't know if Errol knows, but a specific scholarship for post-admission. Um, maybe the student phone might be a better option in this way because then you get to already apply for the admission. But depending on what you're studying, you can go for one of those foundations that we suggested. Someone asked, is there any problem if students exceed the working days limit? Uh, I've never heard if I think you shouldn't do that for sure because the government will know. Maybe your company might get fined and maybe you might get forbidden to work more. So uh, the tip we have is that don't do that. Like we and the tax office will track this very closely because the company will register you as their working student or something like this, and they will follow you. Darja said here that from her experience, it's almost impossible to get a scholarship for bachelor first semester. Yeah, it's very hard. Usually, it's not of the easiest thing to do right now. It's something that we actually wanted to work better on. We had some scholarships in the past for decades. We had to suspend them after the pandemic started. Maybe in the future you'll hear from them again. But the problem is that the competition is really high. Can I apply for student loan when I haven't come yet to Germany but have been admitted? It depends on the organization. Usually, if you for banks, no, because you need to have a bank account unless you already have a bank account here. Then maybe you can apply. But it depends on the organization. I know that Brain Capital might allow you. DACA, no, because you need to have a residence permit before. So you have to be here in Germany, have a residency, and so on. But so it depends on the organization that you go for. I think BAföG also need to be here already. So yeah, it's harder because put yourself in German organizations, how they loan lots of money for people that it's a lot for people that don't even have a fixed residence here yet. It's more complicated, and you learn from German bureaucracy that they're really strict about this kind of rules. So maybe you should try to go to this internet. Like Brain Capital is not German; it's international, so that's why they might have less strict rules about this. Another question, I will right now start my third semester, so I can still apply to any scholarship. You mentioned early, you have to check the requirements. Some of them you can apply at any moment. Some of them you have to be at least like 1 year, or some of them you have to apply even before you start. But there are some options for you. You can check the website, as Errol said, and because it changes from scholarship to scholarship.
And I think
Okay.
Daria has put her hand up if you have a question.
Yeah, I had a question about the BAföG. So, as I understand, for international students whose parents are in German and who didn't live in Germany for at least some time, the only option to get BAföG is to work for some time. Can you maybe clarify it? Because from what I read, I got it that you should work for at least some number of hours to be able to apply for that grant.
I don't know if you need to work to get BAföG. I think that's not connected to that. I mean, we are not really experts on that issue, but what I can recommend you to do, like each Studentenwerk in each city, they have a BAföG, people who work on BAföG, and also answer your questions, so you can go for free there in one of their speaking hours and ask them personally, because I think they are the best people, best suited to answer these kind of questions, especially as an international student getting BAföG. What I can say, I got for a short period BAföG while my parents were still not in Germany, but I'm also a German citizen. So I don't really know the regulations if you're just a European citizen. There can be some
Yeah, because for
changes.
me, the information that I find online was a bit confusing. So I just filled up all the forms and just applied in the beginning of yeah, I think winter semester. But somehow they were demanding some new documents. That process like continued for almost like half a year, but then they just said no because I was not German, my parents were not German, and so I didn't pass their other requirements. So maybe it would also be some kind of warning to others not to repeat my mistakes and to just check on that.
Yeah, I put a link in the chat of the Studentenwerk in Tübingen. I guess you're in Tübingen, right? So there are a lot of contact persons which you can approach. I think they are the best contact person on questions like that. I think they will be really open to help you.
Yeah, it would be really nice. Thank you.
Welcome. There's another question here. If you can share the PowerPoint of the presentation right after this call, you're gonna get the recording for this, so you can rewatch it as many times as you want, and also the PPT. So don't worry if you didn't take notes of all the tips, you're gonna have access to it. Anda, you asked for the specific scholarship. This is one, I think it's the one we talked before. No, the other one was Deutsche Stipendium, but this one specifically, I'm not aware of it. Do you know it, Errol?
I'm also not aware of the details, and they can also change over time. So the best thing is always, I think the Deutschlandstipendium also has an English website. So go directly there and read like all the requirements that are needed. I think then you'll find it easily. And sometimes also universities have departments that help you with stuff like that and offer, like not offer themselves, but like match people with stuff like this. So also check out your university website if they're offering some kind of information on the issue of scholarships.
Okay. Would we have another question? We have still 4 minutes here. If you're good already, it was a more broad informative session. If we will try to share more tips on our Instagram and other networks. If you want, you can also still send more things. We want to use this last minutes to share with you this the special discount that we have access to. So we have this partner, it's called Studo. Studo is a platform for you to organize your student life. So you can have access to study schedules or mental health resources, everything that you need to have a better student life in Germany. You can use on Studo. You can go to their website and check what they're about. You can go to also download their app. And if you want to use a premium account, you can also use our special promo code, which is DGIS 2022. And you can also scan this QR code to go there and check it out. So this is one special discount that we wanted to share with you right now. We hope you make good use of it and it can potentialize your experience as international students in Germany. Other than that, we want to thank you for attending our webinar. For those who are joining us for a few weeks now, thank you so much for keeping up. And we want to let you know that if you're interested in joining DGIS, maybe we will have an info event. We already had one last week, and then we're going to have the last one from this season next week. So we're going to talk specifically about this DGIS experience, what are the benefits, what are the cool things you can get, how the volunteer certificate works and how it helps you, and all sorts of things. You can already register on the DGIS bit.ly/DGIS network. And if you are willing to join, we see each other next week for sure.
Yeah, I think Hannah has raised her hand. If you can answer one final question.
Yeah, hello to
Hi.
everyone. I'd like to ask something about job and for mini job. Can I also switch on German? It is more easy for me.
I don't speak German. Maybe Errol can help
Okay,
you with that.
okay. So I just have one question about mini job. When we should we have Sozialversicherungsausweis für Minijob? Because some employer need this and some not, and I don't understand how it works.
You said Sozialversicherungsnummer oder
Genau,
Sozialversicherungs.
Ausweis, ja, genau, weil ich habe zum Beispiel gefragt schon und ich bin nur privat versichert und ich weiß nicht, ob ich darf das haben. Das heißt, und zum Beispiel, ich habe in Bäckerei Probetag gemacht und ich habe mich so beworben für einen Minijob und nur für Wochenende, ja. Und ich bin nicht sicher, darf ich das bekommen, Sozialversicherungsausweis.
I'll try to answer it in English so the other people also get a little bit. So I'm not really have much knowledge on that issue. If you can still get it while you're doing that kind of a mini job, I think I don't know if like the place that you will work for asks for it or if it's connected to that. But I have to say I don't really have much knowledge on that issue, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay, no problem. I think I should ask, for example, in Ausländerbehörde or something like that on I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe might be the best.
Ausländerbehörde.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can finish for tonight. Can you stop the recording, please?